in Ontario until September, but there will be online learning for the summer if students want it. And that wasn't the only news today. All sleepover camps in Ontario are cancelled. So on a day that many Ontarians were happy to see what's called Phase 1 opening, that means some retail shops with street entrances are open in a limited capacity, construction is open, some healthcare services are now open, libraries have the ability to give some pickup for books, even some veterinary services are open. The school closure was the big news. What does it mean for students and their credits? What about parents who need childcare as they head back to work? Let's find out. Ontario's Education Minister Stephen Lecce joins us now. Mr. Lecce, always good to have you on the program, and thanks so much for joining us. Look, when we look across the country at BC and Quebec, they've opened schools in areas that have very few cases of coronavirus. Why did Ontario go with a blanket closure and not maybe let some students back in areas where there aren't that many cases of COVID?
Yeah, you know, Evan, our obligation is the safety of children in this province. And following the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health in Ontario, and obviously consulting with Sick Kids Hospital, among others, we came to the conclusion that, you know, we were not prepared to take a risk for our youngest learners, largely because this province has made great gains in flattening the curve. And we felt that the risk profile associated with letting potentially hundreds of thousands, or as you know, upwards of 2 million students potentially return, could only exacerbate the challenges that our country and the world faces in the context of minimizing community spread and of this outbreak. And so we followed the medical advice. We've done that.
It'll be over 90 days, Minister, since kids have been in school by the end of June. And then I know there's an option for online courses, but then they may not, I don't know what, September, no one can predict what's going to happen in September. What will you do about kids falling behind, kids that may not get their credits, kids for whom online learning just not working?
Absolutely. I think there's just two parts to that question. The first deals with, you know, how do we make sure that students are able to stay up to speed with the curriculum? We believe that the online learning program, that virtual learning program we've unveiled to date, is helping to keep kids engaged in learning in the curriculum, and ultimately every student on track to graduate in this province will graduate. We can confirm that they will get a completed report card this semester, and they will be accepted into post-secondary on the merits of their application. They will not face any delay or challenge because of the broader outbreak and the health implications of COVID-19. With respect to marginalized communities, you know, I think of obviously low-income families, you know, children from Black communities, as well as First Nations and LGBTQ kids and others that already face challenges within our society. We've actually set aside enhanced support, more financial support with respect to programs to help provide mentorship, leadership, and ultimately enable them to get through the journey of learning. We are concerned about those gaps. That's why we've invested in them. With respect to how do we make sort of equalize the experience to the extent possible, how to make online learning or distant learning as effective as possible, it's about consistency. And there are some amazing teachers right now, Evan, really stepping up to the plate to do live, dynamic, synchronous learning. And what we're asking is to have more standardization of that experience, because I joined many of these classes and I saw the smiles on these kids' faces. They were excited to be with their kids, excited to hear their teacher's voice, to be part of a community, a virtual community. And it's not the same, but it still is something. And that's why we believe in
it's not the same. You're right. I mean, look, as a parent, the online learning is, I'm sure you and I, we get sick of Zoom calls. It's hard to focus on that for after a while. And, you know, there's no replacing the classroom. But I understand this now. But summer camps are now, sleepover camps rather, are going to be closed. What about maybe having school over the summer holiday, July and August, starting in August earlier to get kids back? Has your government considered that outside of the voluntary online learning?
Yeah, so for the summer program, we're going to be expanding to serving the largest number of students in Ontario history. Over 225,000 young people will have access to summer learning. That could be to credit accumulation. It could be to take on a credit that they didn't do well this past year. They can do that course again. It could be kids in grade 8 to reach forward into grade 9 curriculum to get ahead. We're providing those options, and I think that's really important for families to have that in online and, of course, in class. With respect to September, I think what we need to do is build up a Made in Ontario credible online learning program that ensures, regardless of what transpires, God forbid if there's a second wave or any other manifestation of COVID or health challenge, that this province is able to immediately pivot and keep our kids online using the best technology available to us. And that's why we have taken a position to embrace technology and really allow it to not replace perfectly, as you said, and I agree with you, Evan, but to at least help complement these kids, keep them engaged in the material and give them a sense of community, which they do not have when they're home alone.
Okay, I just got a minute. A lot of parents are saying, my God, Minister, I got to get back to work. You know, phase 1 is opened in Ontario. Phase 2 is about to open. I'm going to go back to work, but I need childcare. What will the government do about childcare if the schools are closed and parents need to get back to work?
Absolutely. Well, and I forgot to mention the summer camp components of your question. That the minister, my colleague, Minister Todd Smith, has worked with the Chief Medical Officer of Health, will be enabling municipalities and nonprofits in July and August to reopen day components of camps. So day camps can be permitted, and that's going to help. We're also expanding the childcare regime. What we're going to be doing is in the next phase, we've entered phase 1 today of our economic recovery, our program to get our businesses and people back to work. Phase 2, the next phase, you will see the province phasing out emergency childcare and phasing in sort of mainstream childcare for everyday families. There will be health restrictions. There will be new protocols in place, obviously, but together that's going to help. And of course, home care continues during this period. But I appreciate, Evan, the challenges on the labor market, and I know this is a tough decision, but I think when it comes to health and safety, we have to err on the side of caution for our kids. And that's why we did that. But we've done it with a mitigating plan on home care, on the expansion of childcare, and of course on summer camps, which I think will help ensure labor market activity, particularly for women that we know they need that type of support.
All right, I got to leave it there. These are, to be fair, these are brutal decisions, balancing safety and the economic need. And I don't know if there's a perfect answer, but I appreciate you joining us, giving us the latest here. School out, at least outside of online school, at least till September. Minister Lecce, thank you, sir.
Thank you.